Okay, good. That was so weird. I don't know why. I was wondering, I'm like, it's been 7 minutes and nobody's in here. Something's going on. Thank you. I'm getting all sorts of fun back to school stuff being made that I'm actually using too. I forgot to bring my planner up. That's okay. I'll find something else to put it on. I specifically brought my planner home with me too. All right, welcome everyone. Sorry about the technical issues. I don't know if it had something to do with being in the event. That worked last month, but it's not working this month, so we'll try it differently next month. But we'll give everyone just another minute or so to get on before getting started. And for those joining, we are giving away 2 $25 digital online gift cards to ThermOWeb. So make sure you drop a comment and stay on for the entire thing. And Dawn, who's helping moderate this with me, will draw our winners at the end. This pouch actually comes together fairly quickly. I almost think half the time it takes more time to cut fabric and materials out than it does to actually sew it together. So another minute or so and we'll get started. Been making all these back to school items. I just started teaching in elementary, middle school, so they're coming very much in handy. Am I having a great start? Yes, and it's crazy. It's already been a month, pretty much. I started August 1st with students. So it's been almost a month, and it's been great. Definitely missed my calling by, oh gosh, 15 years, but you know what? It's okay. I'm doing it now, and I'm enjoying it tremendously. All right, I'm going to move over to my workspace here. I'm going to minimize my screen of my face. If this is your first time here, I've got the dual screen. Just so that you're not staring at nothing when I'm actually sewing, I'll point the small little screen over to my sewing machine here in a minute. I also, since it's on the dual camera system, I can't see any comments when I'm working over at the station where you'll see my hands. So I have Dawn. She will help answer questions if she can. And if not, I'll come back and take a look to see if there's anything that might be missed that I need to answer. So with that, I'm going to head over to my workstation, and it is almost bedtime here for my children, so you might hear in the background my children getting ready for bed. So here comes one now. You want to come say hi real quick, and then it's off to bed. Watch the cords. Come say hi, and then come say hi.
Hi.
And then some of you who were on before have met my older daughter. All right. Good night, girls.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So
Oh, she just lost a tooth. Her very first one, so she's very excited. All right. Move it over. All right. So we are going to create this fun pouch. It's zippered. I call it a phone pouch because for me as a teacher, it's a nice place for me to put my phone because a lot of my clothing does not have pockets. I wear a lot of dresses and skirts, but I do carry my planner around with me which I have failed to bring upstairs to my sewing room. But this would go around the planner like so. And then I could carry it with my phone and any pens and pencils or anything I need it to go with it. So let's get started. For this project, you need fabric, and I have different sizes, and it's all laid out on the blog. So if you miss it tonight, I'm going to use my cheat sheet here. So you would need 2 pieces for your front and back, which are 6 inches by 9 inches. You also need 2 pieces that are 6 inches by 9 inches, and that would be your lining. And then on here, there are 2 pockets. The big pocket, which is the one that's in the back, that one is 6 inches by 13. I've got that folded. And then the smaller one in the front is 6 inches by 10 and a half. And I just noticed my fabric has a corner cut. But actually, we're going to use it. It's actually not even going to show. We're going to put that on the inside. Ways to knot. All right, so interfacing wise, what you need. So what I'm using is ThermOWeb's medium weight non-woven interfacing. I don't have any small packages currently to show you what it looks like. I have one on a bolt, but it comes in a package similar to this look, but right here it will say medium weight. And for that, you need 2 pieces that are 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And this is for your main fabric, which for that, I'm going to be doing the purple as the main. I'm not sure if I showed that earlier or if I did it the opposite, but I'm going to be doing the purple for the main right here on the bag. And then you will also interface, and you can hear my puppy dog. You will also interface both of the pockets because there's no batting in here, and you want it to have a little bit of weight to it. So that's why we're adding this interfacing. So for the smaller front pocket, it is 5.5 by 10 inches, and the bigger pocket is 5.5 by 12.5. So if you think about the math, it's just a 1/2 inch smaller all the way around. And I do that so that my seams aren't super bulky, and that's very helpful when adding the zipper as well. So the first thing you do after you cut all your fabric out is we're going to fuse our medium weight interfacing to our fabric. And I am using batik, so there really is no right or wrong way, but of course you want to fuse it to the wrong side of your fabric. I like to do kind of a once over that way and a once over this way. And then I'm going to check the computer. Ever since I had a glitchy episode, probably almost a year ago now, I'm just still panic. Okay. Seems like everything's working. Good. I'm going to fuse my other piece. And for those who like my pin cushion, if you have not been on here before, I do have that a tutorial on that you can do. It's on my blog, inflorescencedesigns.com, which, since this was chaotic, when I put in the description, usually I put like a thing in the description of the live with links. Because of the technical difficulties this evening, I just wrote the title and didn't add any links or anything, just so we could get it started. But if Dawn doesn't link those up, I will do that at the end. So now I am fusing my pocket, this pocket in the back. And then, as I said before, it did kind of get cut off a little bit. So I'm going to snip that, because I'm not going to waste this beautiful fabric. I'm going to put that little corner in the inside, because that'll be in the inside bottom, which will be down here. It'll get taken care of. All right, I'm going to put that on kind of standby for now. So what we need to do next is we need to prepare our pockets, and we need to prepare a piece with the elastic. And one thing I want to mention about the elastic is I have a size on the blog. I have the 9-inch, I believe 9 inches. It might be slightly longer and I trim it. I can't remember what I put. But this is variable. This can be dependent on the size of what you want to use. If you have a bigger binder or notebook, add more to this so that it's not so stretched. This is variable. So I would just measure what you want to put it around. And then, of course, you want it to have a little stretch to it. So you would slightly shorten it. But for the purpose of this one, it is the exact length of this piece, which was 9 inches. But what we need to do is, the first thing is we're going to take our pocket pieces and we're going to fold them in half and press them. And I know I turned that off, but this is super hot still, so I'm just going to use it that way. And I'm going to go over and do the first bit of sewing, which what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stitch about 1/4 inch across the top. Gives it a nice pretty edge. So I'll be right back. So I added just some top stitching. Makes it very pretty. We can put the smaller front pocket aside. For this next one, Again, this is, again, a lot of these things I'm doing are optional. You could have 2 big pockets, like that's big. That could hold maybe some Post-it notes or something that's wide. But I am going to add a stitched line to this next one. So what you need for this is you need one of your front pieces and I call it the larger, it's the back pocket. And you're going to align them with the raw edges up. And for security's sake, we'll just add a pin here. Oh, I have pins down there. I have pin cushions everywhere. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we'll measure it. I usually just eyeball things, but we'll measure it tonight, just so I can see. So this was 6 inches, so we want to measure in 3 inches. And it's pencils, so we can wash it off later. If you have one of those pens that disappears with heat, use that too. I used to, it disappeared. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stitch from here all the way down to here, and that's just gonna create a divide in there. Okay, we'll cut off our little ends. And now, so you can see it's sewn. So what we need to do now, I'm actually going to do this next. We're going to do 2 steps in one, so that I'm just going to get all these little pieces sewn together. So what we're going to do for our front, this is our front piece. I'm going to pin all of these layers together, and you'll notice now that with all that interfacing, it's got a nice feel to it. It's real thick, but not too thick. Your machine can easily get through it. So what we're going to do for this front piece is we will just do a basting, and by basting, that's just stitches that we don't want them to be seen. Sometimes basting is really large stitches. For this, I just do regular size stitching, but I do it at 1/8 of an inch. And the reason for that is when I go to sew it together, I'll be sewing it at 1/4 of an inch, and those will disappear. So I'm going to baste it all the way down, across the bottom, and up. And actually, I just noticed I have this backwards. I want to turn that this way so that now it will be hidden inside. What also I'm going to do, I am going to do the back as well. So I'll be stitching this, basting 1/8 of an inch from here all the way down and over. But at the same time, while I'm over at the sewing machine, I am going to sew my elastic. So I'm also going to baste this, and that also just means temporary stitches. And I'm just going to baste this right on the edge of the back in the middle. And this is my stretchy elastic. And this is 1 inch elastic that actually, I have had this for a very long time. I got it from the store, and it was in the section where you could buy stuff to make cloth diapers. So it's meant to almost be like the edging of a diaper, but it's stretchy so that it goes around the leg holes. But you can find, I'm sure you can find this or other types of 1 inch elastic other places as well. So I'm going to go over to the sewing machine and stitch this up. And not trip on my cords. I'm going to check the the chat feed too. So many things in the chat. I can't wait to read it. Can't wait to read it later. I do. I go back and I read through it all. It's exciting. All right. Ace date time. Okay. So just to recap, I stitched down and around and over, and then I attached the elastic to the back of the pouch, and I did reinforce it. So I went back and forth several times because this is going to have some, some tension on it when you're using it and when you take it on and off. So now we're going to add the zipper and the lining. So for the zipper, I have a 12-inch zipper. Since this is only a 9-inch bag, you could probably go with a smaller zipper. But generally, like your standard zippers like this, they come in, I think, like 8, 9. There might be a 10-inch one, but I happen to have only 7 inches and 12 inches on hand. So I'm using the 12-inch, but it gives me plenty of room to make sure it works. Because I am a person, I do not like to waste. So if I can get it to be the most closest possible, I do. All right. So we're going to work with one side first. We'll work with the front. And you got to decide which way you want your zipper to be pulled. I think I want, if this is going to be on my planner, I want my zipper to be at the top and not the bottom. So when I open it, it's coming down. So I am going to take my zipper and I'm going to place it face down on my pouch, and I'm going to turn it this way. And then this is where we add our lining. I've got one of my lining pieces. Get some of those wrinkles out. And we will layer it, the lining. And you can pin or clip, whichever you prefer. All right, so when this gets opened, yep, it's the way we want it. So now what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go stitch about 1/4 of an inch all the way down, and I will bring it back over. And I'm using my zipper foot for this. So switching feet. turn my iron back on because I'm going to press it. And it is a little thick up in there, so it might take a little maneuvering around. But we'll press that down. And then we're going to top stitch it too to help hold it in place. All right. So I'm going to do this in 2 steps. So what I'm going to do is I am going to top stitch this while I'm over there. But in the meantime, let's just pretend that I already did that. And we're going to put our back on. So we want our back facing up, and we'll take our bag and face it zipper down and align your pieces so that your edges are lined up. And it's more important that your lining isn't lined up with. It's more important that your front and back are, because your lining will be sewn separate to itself. So that's why I got the lining out of the way, and I was just making sure that my front and back of my bag were lined up. And you can see that sticks out, but that sticks out already. And then we'll add the other side of our lining over here, and that you definitely want to line up with your lining, because this will be what they call kind of like a drop-in lining. So what I'm going to do over at the sewing machine is I'm going to do 2 and 1. I am going to stitch the zipper on, and once the zipper's on, I'm going to go back and top stitch down both sides of the zipper. And I will do a close-up and show you that when I get through. Okay, so to recap, I attached my back and my lining to my zipper, and then I did a top stitch. And you may be thinking, oh, I didn't press this side. Well, fortunately, this side was very easy to just finger press because it's only these 2 layers and not a bunch of pockets. Pocket side definitely has to be pressed to really get that in place. So now we have the top of the outside of our bag and the lining all together. And we're going to start putting that together. So this is very important. Make sure you take your zipper and open it at least halfway. Otherwise, I mean, it is possible to get it unzipped, but let's just make life easy. And we're going to align our outside of our bag, corners and edges, align those. And we're going to align our lining as well. And we're going to press this. You notice the zipper's already kind of doing it. The zipper is pressing towards the lining. So you see how it's kind of folded? It's not folding up towards the main part of the bag. I'm folding it towards the lining. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to sew around this, but I'm going to leave a good 2.5 inch opening so that I can turn it right side out. So I'm going to start sewing right here, come all the way over here, go very slowly and carefully over your zipper. Don't want to break any needles. And I'll probably reinforce it a couple times and go down, back over, up again, slowly across the zipper and back down to here, leaving this open. And I'm doing a 1/4 of an inch seam. We are almost done, if you can believe it. So we're going to snip our zipper, and I'm using they used to be fabric scissors, but now they're just whatever. I want them to be scissors. Don't use your good ones. And then we're going to clip the corners too, especially on the outside. This is where it was really important to make sure you had your thing open, because then you can open it up all the way. We're going to turn it right side out through the opening we left in the lining. Push out your corners. This bottom corner will be the thickest one, but can get it. And then this zipper corner will be the thickest too. All right. And then you want to kind of push out your corners of your lining just to make this next part easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to press our opening where the seam would be, and then we're going to top stitch it closed. So as you can see, just from sewing, it already creates a nice hem or a seam fold. We're going to press that. And what I'm going to do is take it over the sewing machine and just top stitch this opening closed. And I saw someone likes these colors. I do too. I really like this one. I think I'm going to give this one away to one of my teacher friends and keep this one. I love purple. So purple and yellow are my two favorite colors. So once you've got your top stitch kind of closing that up, press, I like to kind of press the corners in while it's out here, and then push it inside your bag. And there you have it. Give it a little press if you'd like. Your zipper pouch that can go on a planner or a notebook. Let's see. We're going to put it on a ruler. So if you came in partway through the video, like I said, like this probably would be too big. So I would, because see how it's really pulling there, for something like this size, I would extend your elastic. My planner isn't this big. My planner is probably a good 2 inches smaller. But that's how it works. Now, I will leave the live on for just a little bit because I know Dawn will be drawing the names of our winners of the two $25 online gift cards. So sit tight for that. And I want to thank you all for joining me and for getting through the technical difficulties we were having. Not sure what caused that. But as I said earlier in the video, I was surprised it was like 5 minutes in and nobody was in. And I was getting some concern, so I went on a different web browser to see, because I can't look at two on the same one, to see what any comments were coming. So I'm going to head over to the computer and check out the chat and see what's happening. I'm just reading through the comments. All right, yep, Dawn said last chance 1 minute ago. Drop a comment so she can put you in. And you're welcome to all the thank yous in there. You're welcome. I really do enjoy sharing these. I have another one coming up. It's not the 4th Wednesday in September next month. It is the 3rd Wednesday. So it's a little bit of a schedule change. It will be the 18th. All right, looks like our winners are Tanya and Allison. Congratulations. Thank you. Yes, they enjoy the spotlight. My daughter was on 2 months ago helping to do a project. She's 10. She loves to do tutorials. My little one loves it too, but she's not ready for the live action yet. She's helped in other tutorials, still photo ones. Definitely take after their mother at the craftiness. All right, I'll leave the live going for about another 2 more minutes. If there's any other questions, I'll read through some of the comments to see if there's anything that perhaps got missed. But if not, thank you all again, and I hope you all have a great night and a lovely Labor Day weekend. If you're, able to celebrate it, I wish you all the best. All right. Good night, everybody. Hope to see you in September.